In the shadowy corridors of power, where nations dance on a knife's edge of diplomacy and deception, two intelligence agencies have engaged in decades of long game of cat and mouse that would make Hollywood thrillers seem tame by comparison. Picture this: it's 2010, deep within the secure facilities of the CIA's Langley headquarters. Analysts are staring at computer screens in disbelief. Someone has just penetrated one of their most sensitive operations in the Middle East. But this isn't the work of a hostile foreign power or a rogue terrorist organization. The digital fingerprints lead back to an ally, Israel's Mossad. What you're about to discover will challenge everything you think you know about international alliances, because beneath the public handshakes and diplomatic pleasantries between Washington and Tel Aviv lies a complex web of espionage, betrayal, and strategic maneuvering that has shaped global politics for over 7 decades. This is the untold story of secret spy war between the CIA and Mossad, two agencies bound by shared interests yet divided by conflicting loyalties, operating in a world where friendship and rivalry exist in the same breath. The foundation of mistrust. To understand this clandestine conflict, we must journey back to the birth of modern intelligence warfare. When Israel declared independence in 1948, the newly formed Mossad faced an existential reality: survival in a hostile region where information could mean the difference between existence and annihilation. The CIA, established just 1 year earlier in 1947, was still finding its footing in the post World War II landscape. Initially, American and Israeli intelligence cooperation seemed natural, two democratic nations facing the growing threat of Soviet expansion in the Cold War era. But beneath this surface alliance, fundamental differences in approach and priorities were already emerging. The CIA operated as a part of a global superpower with worldwide interests. Mossad functioned as the shield of a small nation where a single intelligence failure could spell national catastrophe. The first cracks appeared in the 1950s, during what intelligence historians now call the Lavon Affair. Israeli agents operating without CIA knowledge conducted false flag operations in Egypt designed to strain US Egyptian relations. When these operations were exposed, American intelligence officials felt betrayed. How could an ally conduct covert operations that could drag the United States into unwanted conflicts? James Jesus Angleton, the CIA's legendary counterintelligence chief, became both fascinated and suspicious of Mossad's capabilities. He admired their operational boldness but feared their willingness to operate independently of American interests. Angleton once described working with Mossad as trying to catch smoke with your bare hands, a relationship that was simultaneously essential and elusive. The 1967 Six-Day War marked a turning point. While publicly supporting Israel's right to defend itself, CIA analysts were privately concerned about intelligence gaps. Mossad has achieved complete strategic surprise, not just against Arab forces but against their American counterparts, who were supposed to be their closest intelligence partners. This pattern of information compartmentalization would become a defining characteristic of the leadership. Israel would share intelligence when it served their interests, but critical operational details were often withheld. American officials began to realize they were dealing with an intelligence service that viewed partnership as a tool, not an obligation. The Pollard shock and operational conflicts. If the early years established a foundation of cautious cooperation, the 1980s brought some seismic shift that would fundamentally alter the relationship forever. The name Jonathan Pollard still sends ripples through intelligence circles today. representing one of the most damaging espionage cases in American history. Pollard, a US Navy intelligence analyst, had been secretly funneling classified documents to Israel handlers for over a year when he was finally caught in 1985. But this wasn't just another spy case, this was an ally systematically penetrating American intelligence operations. The documents Pollard provided included satellite imagery, communication intercepts, and detailed intelligence assessments about Arabs' military capabilities. What made the Pollard affair so devastating wasn't just the breach itself, but what it revealed about Mossad's operational philosophy. Israeli intelligence had recruited an American citizen to spy against his own country, justifying it as necessary for Israeli security. The message was clear. When Israeli survival was at stake, no relationship was sacred. CIA Director William Casey was reportedly furious, not just about the espionage, but about the operational audacity. How many other Pollards might there be? The subsequent counterintelligence investigation revealed a sophisticated Israeli intelligence collection operation that had been running parallel to official cooperation channels. But Mossad's independent streak wasn't limited to espionage against American partners. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Israeli intelligence conducted operations that directly contradicted American foreign policy objectives. The assassination of Palestinian leaders in European capitals, the bombing of Iraqi nuclear reactor in Osirak, and countless other operations were carried out without American consultation or approval. Each of these operations created diplomatic headaches for Washington. American officials found themselves in the uncomfortable position of publicly condemning actions that privately they sometimes understood or even appreciated. The destruction of Iraqi nuclear program, for instance, eliminated a threat that concerned American strategists, even as it violated international law and complicated US relations with Arab allies. Former CIA operative Robert Baer, who worked extensively in the Middle East, later described the relationship as a marriage of convenience where both partners were constantly checking each other's pockets. American intelligence officers learned to appreciate Mossad's effectiveness while never fully trusting their motivations. The technological revolution in the 1990s opened new frontiers for the shadow competition. Cyber capabilities became the new battlefield, where intelligence agencies could probe and penetrate each other's operations with unprecedented sophistication. Reports began emerging of Israeli cyber units testing their capabilities against American systems, probing for vulnerabilities while maintaining plausible deniability. The Stuxnet revelation and modern warfare. The dawn of the 21st century brought with it new form of warfare that would test the CIA-Mossad relationship in ways never before imagined. Deep within the classified corridors of both agencies, a revolutionary weapon was being developed, one that would bridge the gap between traditional espionage and digital warfare. The target was Iran's nuclear program, especially the uranium enrichment facility in Natanz. But the weapon wasn't the bomb or a missile, it was a computer virus, unlike anything the world has ever seen. Codenamed Stuxnet, this digital weapon represented the true cyber weapon designed to cause physical destruction. The operation, known internally as Olympic Games, began around 2006 as a joint CIA-Mossad initiative. For once, it seemed both agencies were working in perfect harmony towards a shared objective, preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons without resorting to military strikes that could destabilize the entire region. But even in this collaboration, the fundamental differences between the two agencies began to emerge. American officials favored a careful, measured approach designed to slow Iranian progress while maintaining plausible deniability. Mossad, viewing Iranian nuclear capabilities as an existential threat, pushed for more aggressive variants of the virus that would cause maximum disruption. The partnership became to fracture when Mossad apparently modified the virus beyond the agreed parameters. In 2010, Stuxnet escaped the Natanz facility and began spreading across the global internet, exposing the operation to public scrutiny. American officials were reportedly furious, believing that Israeli modifications had made the virus too aggressive and ultimately compromised the entire operation. Former NSA Director Michael Hayden later revealed that the exposure of Stuxnet forced the United States to accelerate its own cyber warfare capabilities, effectively beginning a global cyber arms race. The incident highlighted a recurring theme in CIA Mossad relations: Israeli willingness to take risks that American officials considered unacceptable. The rise of ISIS in 2014 brought another layer of complexity to this relationship. While both agencies shared intelligence about terrorist threats, their approaches to handling the regional chaos differed significantly. American officials sought to balance counterterrorism objectives with broader diplomatic goals in the region. Israeli intelligence focused primarily on threats to Israel's security, sometimes supporting actions that complicated American regional strategies. Perhaps most significantly, the emergence of quantum computing and advanced artificial intelligence has opened new frontiers for intelligence competition. Both agencies are facing to develop capabilities that could fundamentally alter the nature of espionage itself. The question isn't whether they are sharing these developments with each other, it's whether they are actively protecting them from each other. The story we have explored today reveals a fundamental truth about international relations in the modern era. Even the closest allies maintain secrets from each other, and cooperation often masks deeper competition for strategic advantage. The CIA and Mossad relationship serves as a microcosm of how intelligence agencies navigate the complex terrain between partnership and rivalry in pursuit of national interests. What we've uncovered is not a simple tale of friendship, betrayed, or enemies disguised as allies, but rather sophisticated dance between two of the world's most capable intelligence organizations, each serving masters with different priorities and perspectives. The secret war continues today, fought not with guns and bombs, but with algorithms and satellites, cyber weapons, and human intelligence networks that span the globe. A global power structure continues to shift, and new threats emerge from unexpected directions. The lessons of the hidden conflict became increasingly relevant. In a world where information is power and technology can reshape reality itself, the question isn't whether intelligence agencies will compete with their allies, it's how they'll balance that competition with the cooperation necessary to address shared threats. The next time you see headlines about intelligence cooperation between the United States and Israel, remember that beneath the surface of public diplomacy lies this fascinating and complex reality, a relationship that embodies both the possibilities and the limitations of alliance in the modern world.